Bradford City continue their 2025-26 League One campaign with a home clash against Darren Moore's Port Vale. What was that, sorry? Oh, Port Vale actually just sacked Darren Moore. Brilliant, typical. So his staff are actually going to be in charge for this game. But if you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Let's waste no further time and get straight into it. If we start out then with the current League One table, my team Bradford City, we currently sit 3rd position. After 21 matches, we've got 11 wins, 7 draws and 3 defeats, scoring 31 goals and also conceding at 21, which leaves us on a positive 10 goal difference and 40 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a loss, a win, a win and a win. So very good form for us at this moment in time. Recently then, we had a 2-1 win at home to Wigan Athletic. They had a couple of red cards in this game, but Joe Wright coming up the winner in the 90th minute. Great to see Stephen Humphreys on the score sheet as well. It's 2 in his last 2 matches and obviously another one against one of his former sides. We also had a disappointing 2-1 defeat away at Leyton Orient. On another day, we could have easily won this game at 3-0. Some really sloppy defending for both of their goals. And it was a really good first 15-20 minutes, but after that kind of fell off a little bit, and unfortunately it was just our 3rd league defeat of the season. We also had a 2-0 win at home to Reading. Again, Anthony Sarcevic and Bobby Poynton finding themselves on the score sheet in this one. Both of them have been incredibly important for us so far this campaign, but it seems like Bobby Poynton is a major doubt for this game after obviously going off at half-time against Wigan with an injury. We also had a 1-0 win away at Plymouth. This proved to be a very good result because after this match, Plymouth went and won their next 3 matches. Anthony Sarcevic scoring the only goal of the game against his former side, and any time that you're away from home, picking up the 3 points is always absolutely massive. And we also had a 1-0 win at home to Exeter City. Joe Wright again on the score sheet. Recently, Max Powers picked up a fair few assists as well. I think he's had 3 in his last 5 matches, something like that, which is really good to see. And obviously this was a big 3 points for us. It's actually the last time we've seen Alex Patterson in a matchday squad for Bradford City. Compared though to Port Vale, they currently sit 24th in the League One table. After 21 matches, they've got 3 wins, 6 draws and 12 defeats, scoring just 13 goals and also conceding at 29, which leaves them on a minus 16 goal difference and 15 points. Their last couple of matches then have been a loss, a draw, a loss and a loss. So really bad form for them at this moment in time. You can certainly see why Darren Moore has been sacked. Despite both Port Vale and Doncaster finishing above Bradford City last campaign, it's crazy to see what a good versus a bad summer window can do. And I said at the time when the summer transfer window had closed that I felt like Port Vale, their squad wasn't any better than where they were last campaign and they needed to improve. They haven't done that, and that's why they've picked up just 3 wins all campaign and just 13 goals scored as well. You look at the away table, Port Vale just 2 wins on the road all campaign, just 8 goals scored as well. Surely Bradford City get all 3 points. In their most recent match though, they had a 5-0 defeat away at Huddersfield Town. Absolutely destroyed in this one, and you can clearly see why Darren Moore did in the end lose his job. I mean, it was 5-0 before the hour mark. I know at the start of the campaign Huddersfield were the pre-season favourites, but goodness me, we all expected a lot more from them so far this campaign, and to lose 5-0 is a really bad result. They also had a 1-0 defeat at home to Peterborough United. Harry Leonard scoring the only goal of the game in this one pretty late on in that one. They did pick up an early injury, and looking at the stats, not really creating all too much, especially from open play in that one. And I know they have been really poor at home so far this campaign. Obviously, we were meant to play Port Vale a couple of weeks ago, but it was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. They also had a really good 2-2 draw away at Luton Town. I feel like this is a good point to pick up. I know obviously they were leading at one point in this game, but a point away at Luton Town is certainly a good result for Port Vale. And looking at the stats, to be fair, it did seem like quite an even affair, but apart from that recently, they have been a very poor side. They also had a 1-0 defeat away at Lincoln City. A great finish, to be fair, from Rico Hackett-Fairchild, the only goal of the game in that one. It seems like Port Vale don't really make many substitutions, or certainly didn't under Darren Moore. And again, looking at the stats from this one, Port Vale creating very little in the match, although to be fair, Lincoln didn't really create much either. And they also had a 1-0 defeat at home to Plymouth Argyle. Former striker Lawrence to lie, scoring the only goal of the game, and he certainly did celebrate in that one. I mean, even looking at some of the substitutions here, just some really strange calls by Darren Moore so far this campaign. And let me know down below, Port Vale fans, do you think that the management staff taking charge of this game, will they make a lot of changes, changing formation, changing personnel? Let me know how you think you're going to line up down below. Before we do go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 140 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your score prediction for this match and also your starting 11 as well. Given the fact that we're playing 4 games in around 10 days or so, I do think there is going to be lots of chopping and changing over the next couple of matches. I certainly think there'll be changes for this game, so let me know down below, what would your starting 11 be? In terms of my team then for this game, I would stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation, but I have made, I think, 4 changes from our starting 11 that did play against Wigan Athletic. I wouldn't be surprised if then there's another 4 against Mansfield and maybe even another 4 or 5 against Blackpool. We've certainly got enough players to be doing that, but obviously January is right around the corner. There'll be ins, there'll be outs. Let me know what you think Bradford City need to do in January down below. But in goal, I would go with Sam Walker. Firstly, there's nothing that he can do about the Wigan goal, in honesty. It's actually just well worked by them. Obviously, the goal scorer, Callum Wright, does run off the back of Max Power, but nothing that really Sam Walker can do. Although in the first half, he did have a couple of shaky moments. There was a ball that was played back to him that rolled under his foot, and if he was a little bit closer to the goal, certainly could have gone into the back of the net. And also, he dropped a cross, which seemed to be a pretty comfortable claim, and certainly could have been a penalty for Wigan, where Aidan Baldwin was rough and ready, you could say, against the Wigan forward. But I would stick with Sam Walker in goal. In terms of my back three then, at right centre back, I would stick with Aidan Baldwin. It was good to see him played on the right side against Wigan. Obviously, we know that Wigan have got a physical striker in Christian Sadie, so it did make sense to have Joe Wright in the middle. Again, I would have Joe Wright in the middle for this one. Again, coming up with another very important goal. All 3 of his goals in the league so far this campaign for Bradford City have been incredibly important. And I think even defensively, Joe Wright's getting back to his best. We know on the ball he's not the greatest, but if he was good on the ball, he wouldn't be playing at League One level. Defensively, I do think he's very solid, puts his head in where it hurts, and we've not scored many times recently from direct corners, so great to see us actually put the ball into the box and head it into the back of the net. And obviously we had a 2-man overload, but well done to Joe Wright. And completing my defence then, at left centre back, I would bring in I would bring out Kieran Kelly and bring in Curtis Till. It was great to see him get his first appearance since the beginning of September in our recent game, which was Friday, something like that. Days at the moment just seem to be getting all confused, but I would like to see Curtis Tilt come in for this one. Again, we're going to need to be physical against the likes of Mo Fowl or Jaden Stockley, whoever does start up front for Port Vale. So I would like to see Curtis Tilt get a start. We know with Kieran Kelly's injury problems and his history with cramping up, he can't really play every 2 or 3 days, so I think now is the perfect time to bring in Curtis Tilt. And we're at the stage of the season where, if possible, you've got to play your best players for me. In terms of my midfield 4 then, at right wing back, I would bring in Josh Nerfel. I feel like recently Brad Halliday has been playing very well, and as of right now I would still say he is our starting wing back, but given the amount of football that we're going to be playing over the next couple of weeks, it does make sense to be rotating, keep things fresh and all that sort of stuff. So it would be an opportunity for Josh Nerfel to work his way back into the side. He's been on the bench for I think pretty much every game we've played in this month so far. Again, if Brad Halliday does start, I have no complaints from that. This is not a performance based decision in my opinion. It is certainly about fitness, given that he's not really played much football so far this campaign. To then be throwing him in and churning him out every 2 or 3 days, I don't think would be the smartest thing to be doing. But again, if he does play based on performances, I have no complaints with that. As my 2 central midfielders, firstly I would go with the captain, Max Power. I thought he had a really good first 20 minutes or so against Wigan, and then after that his actual performance level kind of dipped a little bit. I know with the red cards then he has a very specific role to play, and that's pick up the ball deep and try and distribute it out wide, but I don't think Power had a bad game whatsoever. He's obviously got a lot of assists in the last couple of matches. I think he's got 3 assists in the last 5 league matches, which is great to see him contributing from that point of view. I'm pretty sure he's created the most chances in the division so far this campaign out of any League One player, which is obviously great to see. And partnering him in my midfield, I would go with Alex Patterson. It's very strange what's happening with Alex Patterson. Firstly, again, this is no slight on Jensen Metcalfe. You all know how big of a fan that I have been with Jensen Metcalf since I watched him play for Chesterfield against Bradford City back in April. I think Metcalf has been absolutely outstanding over the last 3 or 4 weeks, but when you're playing at home to bottom of the table, now I think would be a good time to give him a rest, and I'd start him in the next 2 games as well. But I would like to see Patterson get another opportunity. He's not been involved in a squad for a number of weeks now. I don't think he's been involved in a squad at all this calendar month. It's really strange what's been happening to Alex Patterson, given how much football he'd played prior to that. I don't know if there's been some sort of falling out. He's clearly still in training, as we've seen on the TikToks and all that sort of stuff that the club are posting. So it does seem a little bit strange, the situation with Alex Patterson. But again, if Jensen Metcalf starts, I have no complaints with that whatsoever, because he is a very good player. And completing my midfield 4 then at left wing back, I would go with Ibu Toure. Very consistent, very solid. Not really a lot to say about Ibu Toure. He's just, you know what you're going to get from him. You know, he's a consistent 7 or 8 out of 10 every single week. And I think, again, this will be a smart game to play and him have his experience in this type of match. As my front 3 then, firstly, as my right attacking midfielder, I would go with Anthony Sarcevic. I don't think it was his best performance of the season against Wigan. I could certainly understand why he was kept on for the full game, because obviously he's popped up with a fair few important goals so far this campaign for Bradford City, but I don't think he had a particularly great game, and I do think there's going to be one match across this festive period which Sarcevic doesn't start in, because you can't be starting him in all 4 matches in 10 days when he's, I guess you could say, the wrong side of 30, and obviously has got an injury, or has got a history, of injuries. But given that Poynton probably won't be available for this one, I would start Anthony Sarcevic. As my left attacking midfielder, I would go with Tyreek Wright. He obviously came on for Bobby Poynton at half-time, I do think is a major doubt for this game. It looked like he did take a bit of a bang, and obviously, given that it's such a short turnaround between the matches, I do think it makes sense to bring in somebody like a Tyreek Wright. Hopefully, he can get another good performance under his belt, because I do think on the whole so far this campaign he has played pretty well. And as my striker then, completing my team, I would go with Stephen Humphries. He scored 2 goals in his last 2 matches, so I do think it would be very harsh to drop in. There is going to need to be one game over the festive period where I think you do give him a rest and you give an opportunity to one of our other strikers. But Humphries is in decent form at the moment. You know, he's scoring goals, creating chances. I thought second half he played really well. First half I thought the Wigan defenders handled him quite well, even though he did actually score his goal at the end of the first half. A really well taken goal, proper strikers finish that, so credit to Humphries. Hopefully he can make it 3 in 3 in this one. On the bench then for me, that would leave Joe Hilton, Brad Halliday, Tom McIntyre, Jensen Metcalf, George Lapsley, Will Swan and Andy Cook. The players currently unavailable are Matt Pennington, Lewis Richards. Hopefully both of them will be back in the next couple of weeks. Bobby Poynton, although if Poynton is available, I would have him on the bench over George Lapsley, and also Nick Powell, who should be back in about a month or so, something like that. So the players miss out then through selection would be Neil Burnett, Kieran Kelly, Tommy Lee and also Callum Kavanagh. Obviously Kavanagh's inclusion in the squad and on the bench against Wigan over Andy Cook certainly raised a few eyebrows, so let me know down below, who would you rather have on the bench, Kavanagh or Andy Cook? But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 140 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your score prediction for this match and also your starting 11 as well. What changes would you make? I'm back in Bradford City for another 2-0 home win. Despite the sacking of Darren Moore earlier today, hopefully Bradford City can still get over the line. But thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.